Salad or Dolly, threw a great party. We all drank Bacardi, it got kinda gnarly. We're light as a feather, we're tougher than leather. Together we're weirder together.
Welcome to Weirder Together, remote style. This is Ben Lee.
And I'm Ione Skye.
And I'm coming at you from Sydney. Ione, where in the world are you?
I am in Los Angeles and Silver Lake, California.
Indeed.
Right across from the lake.
Keeping it rolling. Obviously on this pod, we try and keep things light, keep it moving, keep it jovial, but it's been a pretty heavy time in Sydney, so this pod may not have the most levity, but I don't know, I was kind of debating, like, should we even do one this week? But I feel like the consistency is important in the sense of, like, this is sort of a comforting space for our listeners and stuff, and for us too.
Yeah, for sure. And sometimes people need a break from heavy things.
Yes, but feel free to skip this episode if you are trying to hide from the horrors of the news, which I totally understand.
But we're gonna touch on it, but not stay on it and go back to just comfort.
Yeah,
comfort pod.
But it's been really stressful, really horrible week in Sydney. There was obviously, most people have heard, there was this big terrorist attack on the Jewish community in Bondi, which is where I grew up and where you've got to know really well over your years in Australia. And it's just been devastating, like at a visceral level. Like, so many people, basically everyone has been touched directly or indirectly by it that in Sydney. I mean, everyone knows someone. We were just hearing about a friend who was there who was lying on top of her kid and protecting her. And it was just like, so, oh man, it's shaken me up.
Yeah, of course. I'm still in shock.
Yeah. Have you been, it seems like it's a wild thing because I'm watching a lot of the American response and everything. And it's so interesting in America, which is a culture where there's like so many, shootings and these types of horrific incidents, but they're, I don't know, it seems like this one, a lot of people picture Bondi Beach as like this sort of harbor of safety and good living and stuff. So it's like really, I don't know, it seems to have really like affected people around the world.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's, of course, awful having things happen, and like Ireland and Israel and London and certain places, obviously so many places sadly in the world that have had attacks and war, but you don't associate Sydney, and Australia feels like a pretty safe haven, so you don't think of it as a place that has things like that. So yeah, it's awful anywhere, but it's extra startling.
Yeah, I think something about the dissonance of and obviously safety it's kind of a construct of our imagination. Like, are we really safe anywhere? But we do tend to have these social agreements that make us feel safer in some places than others. And I mean, a lot of people know like Australia's track record with gun control and all that is pretty strong. And it seems like it's going to go through another big re-examination now, because the responses to these types of moments are like really, they rock the entire, populace. But it's,
you can't take that away from Sydney, that it's all, it has been incredible with gun control, and in some ways the effectiveness of responding to things is it's a country that can be quite effective in certain ways. And so hopefully people will go back to feeling kind of safe, at least in Australia.
Yeah. And I mean, it's such a tricky thing. I mean, we've talked about it a lot through the whole last couple of years in terms of being a Jewish person and not being, on board with the Israeli government, and how those two things, like the political nature of sort of modern Jewry as represented with Israel and its actions, and being a normal, compassionate person, and how those two things have been conflated both within the Jewish community but also externally. I don't know. I'm finding it really challenging already seeing kind of people wanting to focus on that conversation as how the last couple of years of genuine resistance to the Israeli government has there's an argument that certain people are making that basically set the table for this sort of event, which I just deeply fundamentally disagree with and resent. Because it's it encourages people to stop talking, stop protesting, stop dissenting, which I think is like super dangerous.
There's peaceful protests and things like that can help. And yeah, I mean, you know how I feel, and most people we know that civilians can reach out for change. But of course,
did you see there was that TikTok that Lem, the who Abby's ex-producer? Remember Lem?
Oh yeah.
She did an interesting post saying, like, she's a Palestinian woman, and she just said, I just want to make it clear for those of you that don't understand, these are not our values. These are some sick, twisted people. This is not what we are fighting for. This is not what we are protesting for. But that's what I hate about terrorism. That, I understand the argument historically that armed struggle is part of, people talk about that in revolutions, but I think terrorism sets back problem solving. I really do. Like, I think it makes people less inclined to listen to logic and to have compassion, and it just makes people dig in further to what their position already is. And it's I was hearing what Lem was saying. She's like, this has set us back.
I know.
She's like, this is not, it's mental illness and it's gun violence. It is not, this is not like adequate or legitimate political action.
No. And you can have a powerful leader like Malcolm X, who people think was like really violent. You can have someone very powerful that changes people's minds and is very profound for people, but it doesn't have to be like this. And Bernie Sanders said on his thing, a Muslim father of two risked his life to disarm a murderer who was shooting down Jews celebrating Hanukkah in Sydney. Religion must not divide our common humanity. We must stand together, end anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and all hate, no exceptions. So yeah, it's like there's obviously Islamophobia and anti-Semitism and racism. Like, it's just awful. But yeah, this is not the way to end it.
Yeah.
This just makes everyone say, see, like whoever's it's really tragic.
Yeah, it makes everybody feel that, see, I told you so. Though, I mean, I get a lot of that, like on my social media, like people are writing to me going like, these are the people you are marching with across the Harbour Bridge. And it's just not true. It's not true. No. And it's just like, it's just been heartbreaking. And anyway, all of that's the political side of it and all of that. But just on a human side, like, this is a community that, I had my bar mitzvah in the Bondi Pavilion. I had the first Noise Addict show, the last Noise Addict show. Like, Bondi is such a it's a very close-knit. It's funny because it's such an international area and it's so kind of cosmopolitan, but it's also got this real community feeling to it that somehow has sustained itself through all of the change that's happened in that area.
Well, I do hope, like I was saying before about Australia, the way it usually functions, it seems to be hopefully able to kind of bring a safety, whereas America in certain places, just because of the volume of people and the complexity, it's such an incredible place, America, but it is quite difficult to manage, whereas hopefully eventually there will be a feeling of safety again.
Yeah, I do. But it does shakes an identity for whether it's a religious group or a country. Like, I remember living in New York after 9/11. There was the feeling that if it can happen once, it can happen again. Like, your innocence is taken in a certain way that is you know,
Yeah.
it's, I mean, obviously, like you look at like Jewish people have gone through this like so many times. Like you look at particularly like racial groups of people that have been targeted throughout generations, and the trauma builds and builds, and you just wonder like what the relief is for that in the sort of, you know, in the longer term.
I know I'm
It's
getting it in like the past 10 years, the understanding of how current it is. Like, I guess I grew up with where I left off, it was just like World War II for my grandparents. And the way I grew up, I was lucky enough to kind of not have direct anti Semitism and stuff.
right.
And growing up in LA the way I did. And so it's been a real learning experience also because I didn't see it, I didn't experience it. So I was a little in the dark about what that really looks like, you know, because I more saw racism with Black and Hispanic and
Mm.
Asian, whatever, growing up in LA. I didn't really. So now I'm like, it's a sort of a learning moment,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not a
It's so
happy
funny because
one.
I'm like, I've just like assumed it because I did grow up very aware of it. Like I went to a
Yeah.
Jewish school, it's a security
Mhm.
guards, and I've told this story before, but like when my dad died, we were carrying the coffin into the hearse. And this guy drove past, and he didn't see the coffin. He just saw a group of Jewish people outside, you know, the Hevra Kadisha. It looked like a synagogue or something, and he just called "fucking Jews!" Like, and I was like, part of it was weird. My experience in that moment was like my heart broke for that guy because I
Mm.
think he thought he was being anti-Semitic just outside of a synagogue, which is not that that's better, but I'm just saying there's a benign quality
You're like, I'm
to it.
carrying
Whereas like you
my
do not
passed away
realize you're
father.
yelling this at a 20-year-old who's
I
about to bury
know.
his father. This is, you know, it's
I
just
mean, I'm
like,
listening. I have a recommendation for the Bela Kuti podcast,
oh, right.
but you hear a lot about Nigeria and a lot about war, you know, war torn times and like really heavy stuff. And you just grow up thinking, wow, like that's gnarly. And I'm not weighing things up and saying one's more than the other and this and that, but it's like, it just seems so far away,
Mm.
like in another country that this kind of horror stuff happens. And anyway, it's a recommendation because it's an amazing podcast. It's not just about political unrest in a country, but it's a wonderful podcast. But that is also something that, you know, you just think that kind of thing happens somewhere else or it happens to other people.
Mm.
And so it's sad when, you know, it hits close to home.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, we are going to move on to a few other things, but I mean,
Yeah.
I just want to, there's no right or wrong way to talk about this stuff. It just feels like anything you say is like not enough, you know?
Well, it
But
helps to just talk as well. Like
yeah,
I was just with a friend last night who's going through a hard separation, and I realized that they just really need to talk, you know? So it's
right.
like
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
need to kind of hold space for each other and be together and process. And part of that
Mm.
is talking about it, even if it's not a perfect thing to say. It's just kind of getting the thoughts out. And, you know, it seems part of the healing process, even though I'm not directly affected. But when things happen, it's just sometimes it's nice to talk about it.
Yeah, I know. And similarly, I had a meeting yesterday for 11 a.m. and the guy I was about a project, the guy I was meeting with texted me. He's like, look, I totally understand if you don't want to do this meeting. And I was like, listen, I'm heartbroken right now, but creativity and putting good things into the world is like the only thing within our power to actually kind of
Yeah.
change things, really, you know? And I said, for me, I want to stay engaged in the conversations that I'm engaged with, and I want to keep contributing positivity because, like, just
Yeah.
sitting out because, like, you are in, I don't know, for me, that's not the strategy, you know, for
Well,
dealing with it.
also, I'm thinking about this as I get older that like doing a few things, it's like also unless it's inappropriate and it's truly not the right timing for certain reasons, that it's important to do a few things, like
Mm.
yes, creative, like again, back to the Fela Kuti thing, this one man who ended up playing in the band had so much trauma as a child through war and the healing. Fela, actually, he met Fela, and Fela was like, "Have you ever heard of therapy?" Because this is like in the early 70s, and then he joined the band, and he realized this music, the meditative, the part of the music that was repetitive, because they would sometimes play the same thing before the vocals would come in, and he said that's really helped me with the trauma of my upbringing. And so anyway, but also this guy who was talking had all this trauma was laughing and then crying and then talking about it, like, and talking about whatever fun things. So it's like you can kind of do both. You can do creative, you can laugh, even you can then cry again. Like, I think this idea, of sitting Shiva or whatever, like, it's sort of, I don't know. It's interesting to think about. Can I like be a little happy now, or what? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
well, it's
when,
important not to be too instructive about grief too, isn't it? Like, to give
yeah,
people the idea there's only one way to experience things.
yeah. Anyway, it's
I know.
hard. I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry for you. You're in a more like direct. This particular thing is a little closer to home for you.
Yeah, it is, and it's really between the Jewish part of it, but also the gun violence part of it, where that is symbolic to me so much of like what has made America so unsafe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just it feels like a virus. It's like, do you remember when COVID? I mean, I don't want to put this curse on Australia. God. I'm just saying, like, like, remember when
we're going to get a little happier. Now we're talking.
I know. When the lesser streams of something are like, oh, it's Australia's got resistance. Anyway, it just feels like there's a bigger pandemic of violence in the world that like we need to get to the root cause of. That's like not just about.
But there's still also there is the good too that we have to remember.
Also,
this.
let's take a moment. Yes. Did you see the footage of that guy, the fruit shop guy who tackled the gunman?
No. I watched, I like the tiny bit of footage. I was like, but I didn't see that. No.
It's unbelievable. So he survived. He's in hospital. He got shot twice. But this is a Muslim guy. He's a local fruit shop owner. He tackled one of the gunmen from behind, took his gun off him, pointed it at him, and like slowed down the process, basically. This was all in the 10 minutes before the cops got there. And it's an unbelievable thing. Like, I was talking to someone yesterday about how the like white nationalists or anti-immigration people that want to take control of this narrative and be like, see, this is why you shouldn't let brown people into the country. Like, listen, it was a brown person who saved the day in this moment. It was there was like a beautiful kind of cosmic like Leela to it, to how just that this guy is probably going to win Australian of the Year, and he should. He's like they've raised like over $1 million for him on his GoFundMe while he's recovering, and it is such a stark reminder of the fact that like the impulse that we have to tarnish all people with the same brush because of where they're from or what they believe, it's like so wrong.
It makes me like so like just thinking of people who, even like Bernie Sanders, like people who are, he's like a Jewish guy, but he's so about just not having Islamophobia too, and just like that people keep going, like that someone that old as Bernie would keep going toward hope for humanity, and it's just like it's heartwarming and heartbreaking, but it is like that person to save certain lives, who knows how many, by tackling them. Like, it's very, I don't know, moving is not the right word, but it's like, when people still have hope after so much, it's pretty amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing. We're sending love to everybody involved, and just people around the world who are moved by this, and who are, to Jewish people, to Muslim people, this is touching everybody, and this is not the direction we want to be moving in as a society. I really believe we can find ways to do better than this. Oh, my love. And you're in Anaconda.
I'm in Anaconda. And also, I mean, I don't want to bring up another thing, but there's the Rob Reiner and his
Oh,
wife.
God. I know. We can't talk about that.
I
I
know
just
I
can't.
can.
That's like,
That's something. So
it's
we all
like,
know, just to let people know, we know that that happened. So
yeah.
we're not
Jesus.
holding space for that
Oh,
too.
my God. Rob
I
Reiner.
know.
I
And it's
know.
been a
Love Rob
48
Reiner's
hours of
movies.
intense things.
I know. So, wait, you're in LA.
So
You're seeing people.
yeah,
You're
I'm
Give
seeing
us a
people in
little
LA, and it's been
debrief.
yeah, it's a very touching time, and it's nice. It's so nice to be in California. And I also am still, very happy to be living in Australia at this point, just because that's my life. And I'm very grateful for that. And um, coming here is wonderful. And yeah, I just love seeing my family and friends, and everyone's asking about you, and they all wanted to see you. And yeah, so it's been a beautiful time. I'm cramming in all these visits and trying to stay, not like my head spinning around too much and feeling fried by seeing everybody's.
Hmm.
But it's been a good flow so far.
Yeah.
And
Can you? Yeah,
Anaconda was a
I
great
do want to
premiere.
help. We do need to promote Anaconda. It is the
Oh
movie.
yeah. So what
I
was
wanted to
really
give us like what is?
amazing,
I can't believe I haven't seen it. Like, what's the
I
vibe
know,
of
it
the
was
film?
so good. So it was in an old theater downtown, a Deco theater. And what was nice about that is that the seats are really sort of, in Art Deco, everything is smaller in the 30s or whatever. Like the rooms were kind of small in the seats. So what made that fun was, like, if you go to a screening in a newer building on the west side, and very suits and corporate, and the lighting is a certain way, it gives a quite a like uptight vibe. But this was like a packed deco theater. Everyone's sort of squished in this ornate theater together. Ice Cube's there. It just had a very like kind of ruckus, like, it felt very fun and vibey.
Mm.
Um, People were laughing the whole movie through and like
Does it have
loving.
that meta thing that like we were expecting
Yeah.
with Tom Gomican? Like his,
Yes.
yeah,
What's good is it's the meta thing, but it's also a little more family friendly in a way. Like his last
mm.
movie, which was amazing, was like sophisticated in a different way.
Yeah,
Like this has that same sophistication, but it also, you could be a kid watching it, and um it could be a family movie for real. I'm not just gassing it up because it's a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Christmas film. And it was just so fun, and like had that nostalgia where you're just like, oh, like I love this kind of romancing the stone kind of movie. And it was
I
meta. It
like
was great.
action adventure comedy type
Yeah,
vibe. Yeah,
action
yeah.
adventure. And you know me, like I don't necessarily love action, but it was like so much about the characters, which I think the original Anaconda as well, like you're really into the cast and what they're doing and watching them. And so it wasn't just like only action where,
Mm.
it was a perfect amount for me. And I was genuinely like, I don't laugh out loud that much, but I was like laughing out loud where I was like, my mind was like, wait, you're laughing out loud. And then I was thinking, don't overthink this. Just keep laughing, because I'm usually kind of like, I laugh inside. And
Yes.
I was like
You're
genuinely
an innie,
laughing.
not an outie.
I'm an innie, not an outie. So I was like, oh my God, I'm laughing out loud.
How
Because
was your screen husband, Jack? Was he in good
he was
spirits?
great. He wants a double date, but I didn't want to remind him that I don't live in Sydney at the moment. But
No, that you do live in Sydney.
exactly. I
Yeah.
didn't want to remind him that I don't live in LA at the moment.
Yeah,
But it
yeah.
was like, I was like, yeah, double date. Because his wife
Yeah.
is so wonderful.
Tanya,
His,
old friend of ours. Yeah.
mhm. Tanya's so
Amazing.
great. And yeah, I thought it was cute. But yeah, it was lovely. The after party was like sort of small, which was kind of lovely. I saw my friend Blair, and it was just like a perfect. And then I went to this what's his name? Family Guy.
Seth MacFarlane.
I went to he does an annual big Christmas party for his employees and the Hollywood community. And it was
Mm.
really, does feel like who knows if this is the last. It just feels like doing a Christmas movie that's going to be in the theaters and then going to one of those like big
Yeah,
Hollywood
no, you're right. It's so
parties.
90s, the whole thing.
It feels so 90s. Yeah. And I'm just like, and I dressed kind of old movie star glam / 90s. Like I sort of was going with this whole flow of being kind of just, yeah. So the whole thing felt like a time machine.
Did people like your romance dress?
Yeah, they loved it.
Yeah.
I felt great. I was in a Romance Was Born dress and I had glam, and I'm not like Lisa from Real Housewives of
Oh, yeah.
Salt Lake. She does glam every day, but
I'm
I do
saving all
glam
those.
like
You're not watching any of those, are you, while you're away?
no, we'll save.
Okay, I'm saving all our shows, all our
Oh,
programs.
good. Oh, good.
I'm just watching that Owning Manhattan, that Sirhat, that,
Oh, man.
real estate show.
How does that make you feel? Do you feel
Oh. Where are you? Hey, babe.
Computer died.
Oh, okay. So you didn't have it plugged in?
No, because my plug is like.
Okay. I'll just give a little outro, okay?
Okay.
Okay, hang on one sec. Oh wait, I keep you on the phone there. Okay.
Okay.
So Ione's phone died. I guess we'll wrap up there. I did want to just shout out two things. Dealers of God have a new single. I made it pick of the week last week. I guessed it on it. It's called Driving Home, and it's amazing. They're a great Melbourne band. And then we never talked about how great the Holiday Sidewinder show was the other week.
Oh, yes. That was so good.
It really was.
Yeah, it was just, I can't even describe it at the moment. I'm too hung up on that. My computer wasn't charging properly. But,
anyway, we loved it. We loved it. She's such a star. Like it's,
yes.
I don't know. I feel like she's going to have like I want to see her like playing huge festivals in Australia and stuff. I think she's awesome. It's like cruise ship music for hipsters, but like real party. It's got like Kool and the Gang vibes or something.
Yes, it's so hard to explain. I don't have all my adjectives together, but it was a really amazing show. And I wasn't even in the mood to go out, and I was just like dancing and laughing and clapping and trying to film her nonstop because she's so dynamic, and it was so fun.
So great. All right. Well, let's say goodbye to the beautiful babies. We love you guys. Be good to each other. Be kind. Be kind to yourselves. There's a lot going on in the world, but we're here, and we'll be back very soon to chat more.
Yes. Love you.
Bye.
Mwah.
together we're weirder together.